Hello, my name is Lucas. This is a bit of lit. I'm joining in on Ancientsathon, which is a reading event for June, I believe, and it is hosted by Hufflepuff Discovery, Jennifer Brooks, and David Wiley. I believe it's the second year that this has happened. I didn't see it last year, or I would have joined. The main goal is to read works that are old, from before 1700, and I will be following along and doing some of the prompts. I'm gonna sort of squeeze a few prompts together that one work fits for multiple prompts for myself, just so that I can, as much as I love to read ancient works, I also want to read other things. So I'm going to read for a play. Currently, my list of works is very Eurocentric, and that's perfectly fine. There's lots of great works from European creators, authors, poets, historians and stuff that comes from the ancient world or medieval times or Renaissance period or whatever, but yeah, I would like to expand beyond that horizon. And so I may not have a list of some of those things that I will read, but hopefully I will find some stuff. In fact, one thing I'll definitely be pulling a lot from is this anthology of Chinese literature, beginnings to 1911. So there's going to be about 200 years worth of this big, fat, thick book that I can't use. But there's plenty. It's 5,000-year-old century. Come on. I mean, civilization. 5,000-year-old civilization. Come on. There's going to be plenty that I can pull from here. So I'll pick and choose every other day, probably. Depends on how long the works are. We'll be getting a lot of Chinese works for Ancientsathon. So you'll be seeing a lot of my face. But my play that I'll be reading, I'll look for stuff that's not from Europe as well. But I've never read Titus Andronicus by William Shakespeare, so I would love to read that. And I'll read that along with any other play I can find from outside of Europe in the time frame that we're looking for. And I will be reading from the Oxford edition of the second edition. I feel like this used to have a cover and I got rid of it. Or maybe it never did. I don't know. A paper, a dust jacket, I mean. For the poem, again, there's going to be a ton of poems in here. So we're going to get a lot of Chinese poetry. And I've also got more Chinese poetry, by the way. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, from the Book of Poetry, that's definitely old enough. But for my European choice, I will do Poetic Ada, which also fits the bonus prompt of read a work that's based on religion or mythology. And that is a collection of poems that comes from Codex Regius or Regius Codex or something, and that's a huge primary source for our understanding of Norse mythology. So that will be really, really fun. I read Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology earlier this year, and I normally don't really care for Neil Gaiman, but I thought that was an excellent book, and it made me really want to read that. And the Prose Ada by Snorri Sturluson or something like that. He's got a really strange name. And I'll be looking for stuff that's not just Chinese poetry too. I really like poems, and I gotta read more poetry. So for nonfiction, I can probably find some nonfiction in here again, but I don't know. That one I think is actually going to be maybe the most difficult to go outside of Europe, maybe, because I really won't know exactly what to look for. But I'm going to read History of the Peloponnesian War by Thucydides, And I'm pretty sure that's also over 300 pages, so that's going to count for that prompt as well. And I've been wanting to read it for a long time, and one of the other prompts is to basically read a book so you stop thinking about it. And yeah, beyond that, one work, I don't know exactly how it would be categorized. Maybe it is nonfiction, maybe it's just a folk tale. But I'm going to read the Epic of Sunjata, which is about a Mali king, I believe, from what I was reading. So it's a story from Africa, and it's been passed down from the 13th century. Through griots, who are like storytellers, I guess. I'm not too sure about it, but I was reading a little bit about it, and I was actually I was looking for epic poetry from outside of Europe, is what I Googled, and I found a whole bunch of things, but I found that, and I thought that sounds perfect. But what I found, the format that I found it in, seems like it's in prose, so I don't really know, but I'm going to be reading the Epic of Sunjata, and we're going to be hearing about some African tale, Malian, a tale from Mali, at least. And I'm excited about that, and yeah, I will be reading a whole bunch of other stuff, hopefully, if I can find anything from, I don't know, Russia or India, Mesoamerica, then you'll be seeing my face like every day for Ancientsathon. Thank you.